The giant silver ship appeared in Earth's sky on a Tuesday morning. People around the world stopped and stared up at it. Some were afraid, others were excited, but everyone knew that life on Earth would never be the same again. The aliens called themselves the Galactic Concord, a group of 27 different space-traveling species who worked together. They looked strange to human eyes. Some had blue skin, others had 4 arms, and some didn't even have bodies like humans at all. But they spoke of peace and friendship. "We come to welcome humanity into our family of worlds," said Ambassador Krell, a tall being with diamond-like eyes. His words were broadcast to every TV and phone on Earth. "Your species has great potential." World leaders met in an emergency session. After 3 days of talks, they agreed to accept the Concord's offer. The aliens promised to share some of their technology, though not all of it. "You are still a developing species," Ambassador Krell explained. "Some tools must wait until you are ready." Lieutenant Commander Maya Chen didn't like that answer. At 32 years old, she was one of the first humans assigned to work on the new Joint Earth-Concord space station. The station hung in orbit like a shining wheel, half built by humans and half by aliens. Maya's job was to help with security and act as a guide for the alien visitors. She was smart, careful, and noticed things others missed, and she was starting to notice a lot. "Have you ever helped other developing worlds like ours?" she asked Trill, her Concord partner, as they walked through the station's main hall. Trill's face tentacles wiggled in what Maya had learned was a smile. "Oh yes, many times. The Concord has welcomed 22 other young species over the centuries." "And where are they now? Why haven't we met any of them?" Maya asked. Trill's tentacles stopped moving. "Sadly, most were lost to natural disasters. The universe can be cruel. That's why the Concord is so important. We protect each other." Maya nodded, but something felt wrong. Later that night, in her private quarters, she searched through the Concord database that humans were allowed to access. She found mentions of those lost civilizations, but very few details. "Computer, show me the timeline of when these species joined the Concord and when they experienced their disasters," she said quietly. The pattern made her blood run cold. Every single one of those 22 species had suffered their natural disasters within 5 years of reaching a specific technology milestone. The same milestone Earth was now racing toward, faster than light travel. Maya closed the computer and looked out her window at the Earth below. It looked so peaceful, so unaware. She needed proof before she could sound an alarm. The fate of humanity might depend on what she did next. "Computer, delete my search history," she whispered, "and give me everything we have on Concord terraforming technology." The silent war for Earth's survival had just begun. 3 years passed since the aliens first came to Earth. Most people were happy with the new friendship. Concord technology had helped clean some of Earth's pollution. Their medical knowledge had cured several human diseases. Life seemed better. But Maya Chen wasn't fooled. Now a full commander, she had spent these years gathering information, watching and waiting. Late at night, she broke into parts of the Concord database that humans weren't supposed to see. "There it is again," she whispered to herself, looking at her screen. The planet Sorlax joined the Concord, then 7 years later suffered massive earthquakes that killed everyone. The Drell homeworld became Concord members. Then 4 years later their sun suddenly flared and burned their atmosphere away. 22 worlds, 22 extinct species, all natural disasters that happened after they reached a certain point in technology. Maya couldn't keep this secret anymore. She sent a coded message to Earth's Joint Military Command. "Need secure meeting. Pattern found. Urgent." 3 days later, Maya sat in an underground room in Geneva with Earth's top military leaders. "Commander Chen, this is a serious claim," said General Santos, her dark eyes narrowed. "You believe the Concord is systematically wiping out developing civilizations?" "Yes, sir. The evidence suggests they welcome new species, share limited technology, then eliminate them before they become too advanced, Maya explained. And I believe they plan to do the same to us. The room fell quiet. Then a man Maya didn't know spoke up from the corner. I can confirm her suspicions. He stepped forward. Dr. Elijah Okafor, xenobiologist. I've been studying Concord biology for the past 2 years. Dr. Okafor was tall with kind eyes that now looked troubled. He placed a small device on the table that projected images into the air. These are soil samples from 3 of those extinct worlds. The Concord allowed me to study them as part of my research. He pointed to tiny machines visible under microscope. These are not natural. They're nanobots designed to trigger geological events, earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, even solar flares. General Santos leaned forward. You're saying their natural disasters were engineered? Precisely. Dr. Okafor nodded. And 2 weeks ago, I discovered something disturbing. A Concord ship delivered similar devices to their research center. They're labeled for Earth Environmental Studies. Maya felt cold fear spread through her body. How long do we have? Based on previous patterns, Dr. Okafor said, we have maybe 6 months. Their attack will likely coincide with the test of our first faster-than-light engine. General Santos stood up. We need to take this to the world leaders immediately, but we must appear normal to the Concord while we prepare. If they suspect we know, they'll likely accelerate their timeline. Maya finished. Commander Chen, Dr. Okafor, you two will lead a small team to gather more evidence and develop countermeasures, the general ordered. Meanwhile, we'll begin secret preparations worldwide. This information stays in this room. As they left the meeting, Dr. Okafor touched Maya's arm. I study their biology extensively, he said quietly. If it comes to war, I know their weaknesses. Maya nodded. Let's hope it doesn't come to that. But if it does, Dr. Okafor's eyes hardened. Humanity will not go quietly. 2 months after their secret meeting, Maya Chen stood on a small boat in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. The night was dark, with only stars lighting the water. 6 Navy divers prepared their gear beside her. Remember, we can't be detected, she told them. The Concord satellites pass overhead every 30 minutes. You have 20 minutes to find the device and place the tracker. The divers nodded. One by one, they slipped into the black water and disappeared. Maya checked her watch. Similar missions were happening right now in the Atlantic Ocean, the Mediterranean Sea, and near major fault lines around the world. Earth's intelligence teams were hunting for the Concord's hidden weapons. 18 minutes later, the divers surfaced. The team leader climbed back onto the boat with something wrapped in a special cloth that blocked all signals. We found it, Commander, he said, carefully unwrapping the package, just like the doctor described. Maya stared at the silver-blue device. It was beautiful in a terrible way, shaped like a seashell, but clearly made of advanced metal. Small lights pulsed along its surface. Get it into the container, she ordered. We need to move before the satellite comes. Back at the underground base, Dr. Okafor waited with his team of scientists. When Maya brought in the device, his eyes widened. You actually found one, he whispered, taking the container. Over the next week, teams around the world found 12 more devices, all planted in places that could trigger massive natural disasters if activated. In a secure room deep beneath Geneva, world leaders gathered to see the evidence. President Williams of the United States looked pale as she examined one of the devices. How many more do you think are out there? She asked. Based on our search pattern, probably hundreds, Maya answered. They've been placing them for years, disguised as scientific equipment. Dr. Okafor stepped forward with his findings displayed on a large screen. We've analyzed their structure, he explained. These are designed to create earthquakes, tsunamis, and volcanic eruptions all at once. If activated together, they would kill most life on Earth within days. When? Asked the Chinese premier, his voice steady, but his hands gripping his chair tightly. Our best estimate is 3 months from now, Maya said. They seem to be waiting for our FTL test. The room fell silent. Then the UN Secretary General Ahmed stood up. Then we have 3 months to prepare our response, he said firmly. We cannot continue normal relations with those who plan our extinction. What exactly do you propose? Asked the Russian president. We're still far behind our technology. Not as far as they think, Dr. Okafor said. We've been reverse engineering their technology faster than they realize, and I believe we found a way to neutralize these devices. But that's not enough, Maya added. Even if we stop this attack, they'll just try again. Secretary General Ahmed's eyes hardened. Then we don't just defend. We strike back. He looked around the room. I propose we initiate Operation Survivor's Fury. It's time to show the Concord that humanity will not be their next victim. One by one, the leaders nodded. The countdown to war had begun. The United Nations building in New York looked especially beautiful that morning. Flags from every nation fluttered in the spring breeze. Concord High Prefectural's ship landed on the special platform built just for visiting alien dignitaries. Sorrel was tall and thin with pale blue skin that seemed to glow. 4 assistant aliens followed him as he walked toward the main entrance, where Secretary General Ahmed waited with a warm smile. High Prefect, welcome back to Earth, Ahmed said, extending his hand in the human greeting that the aliens had learned to copy. Secretary General, the pleasure is mine, Sorrel replied, his thin fingers touching Ahmed's. I bring exciting news about expanded technology sharing. Wonderful, Ahmed said. The full council is eager to hear your proposal. As they walked inside, neither mentioned the 30 human security guards escorting them. Twice the normal number. Sorrel didn't seem to notice. Inside the grand meeting hall, representatives from all Earth nations sat around a large circular table. Sorrel smiled at the familiar faces. Friends, he began, the Concord Leadership Council has decided that Earth has proven itself worthy of greater technology access. We wish to discuss sharing our advanced environmental management systems. Ahmed nodded. That's a most interesting offer, especially since we've recently become very concerned about environmental stability. Sorrel's smile widened. Yes, unpredictable natural events can be so devastating to developing worlds. Exactly our thinking, Ahmed said. Then he pressed a small button hidden under the table. Throughout the building, doors opened simultaneously. Human Special Forces soldiers entered every room where Concord personnel waited. At the same moment, in orbit above Earth, military ships that had been hidden behind the moon moved to surround all Concord vessels. In the meeting hall, the security guards raised their weapons, pointing them at the surprised aliens. What is the meaning of this? Sorrel demanded, his skin changing from blue to a pale gray. Ahmed stood up. High Prefectural, by unanimous decision of Earth's governments, all Concord personnel are being detained pending investigation of crimes against humanity. This is outrageous. What crimes? Sorrel's voice rose with anger and something else. Fear. Ahmed touched a screen on the table. Images appeared in the air. The disaster devices discovered around Earth. We've found your weapons, Sorrel. The same weapons used to destroy 22 other civilizations before us. Sorrel's mouth opened, but no words came out. Ahmed continued, his voice now being broadcast worldwide, and to all Concord ships. For centuries, you have preyed upon emerging civilizations. You welcomed them with one hand while planning their destruction with the other. You believed us naive. You were wrong. Screens around the hall showed Concord personnel being peacefully but firmly detained around the world. Effective immediately, Earth withdraws from the Galactic Concord. We hereby serve notice to your leadership and all Concord species. Humanity will not go quietly. You have awakened something you cannot put back to sleep. Sorrel slumped in his chair, defeated. You don't understand what you've done, he whispered. They will come for you now. All of them. Ahmed's eyes hardened. We're counting on it. Just 7 days after Earth detained the Concord representatives, the attack began. Hundreds of alien ships appeared at the edge of the solar system, their engines glowing like angry stars as they moved toward Earth. Admiral Helena Voronin stood on the bridge of the EDS Defiant, Earth's largest warship. At 53, her gray hair was cut short, and her blue eyes missed nothing as she studied the approaching enemy fleet. "They'd brought enough ships to destroy a planet 10 times over," said her second-in-command. "That's what they think they need." Admiral Voronin replied calmly, "Let's prove them wrong. Signal all ships. Operation Survivor's Fury is now active." Across the solar system, Earth's hidden defense fleet moved into position. For 3 years, while pretending to build only science and trade vessels, humans had secretly constructed warships using modified Concorde technology. The massive Concorde fleet approached Mars. Their commander, Supreme War Leader Gox, laughed at the small number of Earth ships visible on his screens. "Primitives," he said to his officers. "They think a few dozen ships can stop us. The human rebellion will be over by dinner time." But as the Concorde fleet passed Mars, they didn't find what they expected. Instead of meeting Earth's ships in a standard battle formation, they found nothing. The Earth vessels had disappeared. "Where are they?" Gox demanded. Suddenly, alarms blared across the Concorde fleet. Earth ships appeared behind them, from below them, and from the sides, attacking from directions the Concorde never expected. On the Defiant, Admiral Voronin smiled. "Fire all weapons." Earth ships unleashed a barrage of missiles that the humans had redesigned using Concorde technology, but with human innovations the aliens had never seen. The missiles bypassed Concorde shields by changing frequency faster than the aliens could adapt. 20 Concorde ships exploded in the first attack. The aliens scrambled to respond, but Earth's fleet didn't fight the way they expected. Instead of staying in formation, Earth ships moved independently, each captain making their own decisions based on the changing battle. "What is this madness?" Gox shouted as another wave of attacks hit his fleet from multiple directions. "They have no central command, no proper battle structure." "Sir," his officer reported, "we're losing ships at an unacceptable rate. The humans are using our own technology against us, but they've modified it in ways we don't understand." In space, the battle raged. Earth ships darted between larger Concorde vessels, causing them to fire at each other. Human pilots flew in patterns the Concorde computers couldn't predict. Still, the aliens had numbers on their side. For every Concorde ship destroyed, an Earth vessel was also lost. Admiral Voronin watched grimly as battle reports came in. "We're hurting them, but not enough," she said. "Signal all remaining ships. Fall back to Earth orbit and prepare for Phase 2. As Earth's fleet retreated, the Concorde commander laughed. "See, they run like the primitives they are. Forward to Earth. Today we finish this." But on the Defiant, Admiral Voronin's expression remained confident. "They think this is a victory," she told her crew. "Let them think that, right until they meet our real surprise." 2 days after the first battle, Earth's leaders gathered in the underground command center beneath the Rocky Mountains. The room was filled with tension as they watched the Concorde fleet approaching Earth. "We've hurt them, but not enough," Admiral Voronin reported through the video link from her ship. "They still outnumber us 5-1. Secretary General Ahmed looked around the table at the grim faces of world leaders. "Then it's time. We must use the Scorched Earth Directive." President Williams of the United States stood up. "Are we certain? Once we cross this line, there's no going back." "They plan to kill us all," the Chinese premier reminded her. "Every man, woman, and child on Earth. They'd done it 22 times before. If we don't stop them now, humanity ends." After a moment of silence, every leader nodded in agreement. "Activate the directive," Ahmed ordered. "Effective immediately, we abandon all conventional rules of warfare. Our only goal is survival." Across Earth's remaining fleet, commanders received new orders. Their faces showed shock, then determination as they understood what they were being asked to do. Maya Chen, now commanding her own ship, The EDS Shadow. Read her specific mission with narrowed eyes. Her vessel carried special forces trained for the most dangerous missions. Prepare for stealth approach, she ordered her crew. We're going to infiltrate their command hub. On another ship, Dr. Okafor worked with his team of scientists in a sealed laboratory. Before him stood containers of specially engineered biological agents. These target only Concord physiologies, he explained to the military officers. They won't harm humans or Earth life, but they'll incapacitate Concord crews within hours of exposure. Admiral Voronin addressed all fleet captains. From this moment, we no longer fight like a traditional military. Each ship is authorized to act independently. Target their civilian infrastructure, their supply lines, their communication hubs. We fight without mercy because they showed us none. The Concord fleet continued its advance, confident in their superior numbers. Supreme War Leader Gox watched Earth grow larger on his view screen. Primitive humans, he sneered. Their little surprise tactics have failed. Now we will. Alarms blared across his ship, not from in front where Earth's remaining fleet waited, but from behind. Somehow, human ships had appeared in the middle of his fleet's support vessels. How did they get there? He roared. On her stealth ship, Maya smiled as her team attached to the outer hull of the Concord's main communication hub. Wearing special suits, they cut through the hull and entered the alien vessel. Remember, she told her team through their secure comms, plant the virus and get out. This will scramble their entire command structure. Across the battlefield, chaos erupted among the Concord ships. Some received orders to retreat. Others were told to fire on friendly vessels. Supply ships found their life support systems failing as Dr. Okafor's biological agents spread through their air systems. For the first time in its long history, the Galactic Concord faced an enemy that wasn't fighting by any rules, an enemy that had looked at extinction and decided, if we go down, we're taking you with us. War Leader Gox stared in disbelief as his carefully organized fleet fell into confusion. What have these humans become? He whispered. The answer came from every direction as Earth's forces attacked without mercy. They had become what the Concord made them. Survivors willing to do anything to live. Commander Maya Chen's ship drifted silently through the darkness of space. After their successful attack on the Concord communication hub, her team had been forced to escape in a badly damaged vessel. Now they floated near the ruins of an abandoned space station at the edge of the solar system. Life support is failing, her engineer reported. We have maybe 6 hours of air left. Maya nodded calmly, though she felt fear inside. They were too far from Earth for rescue, and their communication system was broken. Keep trying to fix the engines, she ordered. We're not giving up. Suddenly, the ship's sensors beeped. Something large was approaching. Maya looked at the screen and felt her heart sink. It wasn't an Earth ship. Battle stations, she ordered, though she knew their weapons were useless. The strange ship came closer. It didn't look like any Concord vessel Maya had ever seen. It was dark gray with strange markings and moved in an unusual way. Then a voice came through their communication system, speaking perfect English. Earth vessel, we mean you no harm. We have been watching your fight against the Concord. We wish to help. Maya hesitated, then responded. Identify yourselves. We are the Shrouded. Like you, we are survivors of Concord genocide attempts. May we dock with your ship? Your air is running out. With few options, Maya agreed. When the airlock opened, she stood ready with her team, weapons drawn just in case. The aliens that entered weren't like any species she had seen before. They had smooth green-gray skin, large dark eyes, and moved with careful grace. I am Vela, the leader said with a slight bow. Our people have lived in hiding for over 200 years. In the meeting room of their ship, the Shrouded shared their story. They weren't one species, but survivors from 5 different planets that had escaped the Concord's extinction plans. We've built hidden colonies throughout the galaxy, Vela explained. We watch, we wait, we help others when we can. How many are you? Maya asked. Millions now, spread across many systems. But we must stay hidden to survive. Why reveal yourselves to us now? Vela's large eyes blinked slowly. Because you fight differently. For centuries, we've watched species try to defend themselves against the Concord. All failed. But you, she pointed at the battle data on Maya's screen, you hurt them. Badly. The shrouded leader explained the truth about the Concord. It had begun centuries ago as a real alliance of peaceful species. But one founding race, the Vedric, had slowly taken control. The Vedric believe only they deserve to rule space, Vela said. They let new species join only to study them. If they show too much potential, the Vedric eliminate them before they become threats. What about the other Concord species? Maya asked. Do they all support this? Many don't even know. The Vedric control all information. They tell their people that these extinctions are natural disasters. Maya leaned forward. We need to get this information back to Earth. Vela nodded. We will help you return, and we offer your people safe haven in our hidden worlds. But Maya shook her head. We don't want to hide. We want to stop them, permanently. Vela looked surprised, then smiled slowly. Then perhaps it's time the Shrouded stopped hiding too. The Joint Command Center beneath Geneva buzzed with activity. Earth leaders stood side by side with Shrouded representatives, studying holographic maps of Concord territories. Maya Chen, now safely returned, presented their bold new plan. We call it Operation Sundered Truth, she said, pointing to key Concord worlds on the map. The Shrouded have given us access codes to their communication systems. With these, we can broadcast the truth to every Concord world simultaneously. Secretary General Ahmed nodded thoughtfully. So instead of just fighting their ships, we reveal the Vedric's lies to their own people. Exactly, Maya confirmed. The average Concord citizen has no idea their leadership has been systematically eliminating other species. They believe the story about natural disasters. Vela, the Shrouded leader, stepped forward. Her large eyes reflected the light from the maps. My people have collected evidence for centuries. Videos, documents, testimonies from survivors. The Vedric cannot deny this proof. Dr. Okafor raised a concern. Even if we turn their own people against them, the Vedric still have their military forces. They won't simply surrender. That's where the second part of our plan comes in. Admiral Vorinen said. While their society is in chaos from these revelations, we strike directly at the Vedric leadership. The plan was set. Using technology from both humans and the Shrouded, they prepared the largest information warfare campaign in history. Earth's remaining fleet, now joined by hidden Shrouded ships, positioned themselves throughout Concord space. On the day of the operation, Maya Chen sat at the main communication terminal with her fingers hovering over the broadcast button. Beside her, Vela and the Earth leaders watched with tense expressions. Ready to transmit on my mark, Maya said. 3, 2, 1. Broadcasting. Across 27 Concord worlds, regular programming suddenly stopped. Instead, citizens saw images of their leaders planning the extinction of other species. They watched footage of the devices being planted on Earth and other worlds. They heard the Vedric High Command discuss how to make genocide look like natural disasters. On the Vedric homeworld, High Commander Xorlax's meeting was interrupted as screens all around him lit up with the broadcast. Shut it down, he screamed at his technicians. Shut it down now. But it was too late. The broadcast continued for hours, showing evidence compiled over centuries. By the end of the day, 7 Concord species had officially withdrawn from the Alliance. Citizens took to the streets on multiple worlds, demanding answers from their leaders. In his command center, Xorlax watched his carefully built empire crumbling. His second-in-command entered with grave news. Sir, we're losing control of member worlds, and our sensors have detected multiple ships approaching our key military installations. Xorlax slammed his fist on the table. Deploy everything. Send all forces to Earth now. Activate all the devices immediately. On Earth, Admiral Voronin received the alert. They've deployed their elite fleet toward Earth. All ships prepare for interception. But despite Earth's preparations, the approaching Concord force was enormous. As Admiral Voronin studied the tactical display, she knew they were outmatched. "May our courage be enough," she whispered as she ordered her fleet into position. "Because our numbers certainly aren't." Admiral Voronin watched the massive Vedric fleet approach Earth. Their ships were larger and more powerful than anything seen in the earlier battles. These were their elite forces, saved until now. "All ships in defensive positions," she ordered. "Remember your training. We fight for the survival of our species today." The space around Earth filled with humanity's remaining vessels, a mix of military ships, converted civilian craft, and their new shrouded allies. But even together, they were badly outnumbered. The first wave of Vedric ships broke through Earth's outer defenses within hours. Ship after ship exploded in bright flashes as brave crews fought and died to slow the enemy's advance. In the underground command center, Secretary General Ahmed received the grim reports. "Our fleet is down to 40% strength," a general said. "The Vedric will reach Earth orbit within 2 hours." Ahmed looked at Dr. Okafor, who stood quietly in the corner of the room. "Is it ready?" Dr. Okafor nodded. "Project Prometheus is ready, but once we activate it, there's no turning back." Ahmed closed his eyes briefly. When he opened them, his decision was made. "Send the order. It's time." Deep beneath the surface of Mars, in a secret facility built over the past 3 years, a team of scientists received the coded message. They looked at each other, then began the activation sequence for humanity's most terrible weapon. On his flagship, High Commander Thorlax smiled as his fleet pushed closer to Earth. "Begin charging the planetary bombardment weapons," he ordered. "I want this troublesome world turned to ash." "Sir," his officer reported, "we're detecting unusual energy readings from Mars." "Ignore it." Thorlax snapped. "Focus on Earth. That's where." The officer's eyes widened in alarm. "Sir, multiple objects launching from Mars. They're not heading to Earth. They're heading toward our territory." Thorlax rushed to the view screen. "What? Show me." The screen displayed dozens of sleek missiles racing away from Mars, moving faster than any ship could follow. In the Earth Command Center, Dr. Okafor explained what they were seeing. "Project Prometheus. We reverse-engineered the Concorde's own planetary devastation technology, but we improved it." "Where are they heading?" Ahmed asked, though he already knew. "The Vedric homeworld and their 20 largest military installations," Dr. Okafor said quietly. Their technology turned against them. On his ship, Thorlax received panicked messages from the Vedric homeworld. The missiles had arrived. There was no way to stop them. The devastation had begun. "Retreat," he screamed. All ships returned to defend. But it was too late. As the Vedric fleet fell into chaos, Earth's remaining ships surged forward in a coordinated attack. With their command structure collapsing, the Vedric vessels were suddenly vulnerable. Secretary General Ahmed stood before the worldwide broadcast system. His face was solemn as he addressed not just Earth, but all listening Concorde worlds. "You brought extinction to our doorstep. We returned it to yours. The difference is that we targeted only those responsible, not entire civilizations. Remember this: humanity does not start wars. We finish them." Throughout the Concorde worlds, the message was heard. The age of the Vedric was over. Humanity had changed the galaxy forever. 6 months after the defeat of the Vedric fleet, the rebuilt Earth Concorde space station hosted representatives from across the galaxy. The circular meeting hall was filled with beings from 20 different species, some from the former Concorde, others from the Shrouded, and many humans from Earth. Maya Chen, now wearing an admiral's uniform, stood at the entrance greeting delegates. Her eyes widened when she saw Dr. Okafor approach with a group of aliens she didn't recognize. "New friends?" she asked him. Dr. Okafor smiled. representatives from 3 worlds that were next on the Vedric extinction list. We found their names in the Vedric databases and reached them just in time. In the center of the hall, Secretary General Ahmed took his place at the round table. Beside him sat Vela of the Shrouded and leaders from former Concord worlds who had rejected the Vedric leadership. Today, Ahmed began, we gather to sign the Treaty of Sol. This new alliance will not repeat the mistakes of the past. No species will rule over others. No civilization will face extinction for their potential. The treaty was displayed on screens around the room. At its heart was what many were already calling the Humanity Clause. Any attempt at species extinction would be considered an act of war against all signatories, triggering immediate unified response. We learned a hard lesson. Ahmed continued. Sometimes to defend civilization, we must temporarily set aside civilized behavior. But the true test comes afterward. Can we return to our principles and build something better? One by one, representatives approached the treaty to add their signatures or equivalent marks. Former enemies now stood together as allies. Later, at the celebration dinner, Admiral Voronin raised a glass. To those who didn't live to see this day, she said, many eyes filled with tears as they remembered the cost of their victory. Maya found herself standing next to Vela on an observation deck, looking out at Earth glowing blue and green below them. Your people did something remarkable, Vela said. In all our centuries of hiding, we never imagined someone would actually defeat the Vedric. We almost didn't, Maya admitted. We came very close to extinction. That's what made you different, Vela replied. You faced extinction and refused to accept it, even if it meant becoming something terrible in the process. Maya nodded. The hardest part wasn't deciding to fight without limits. It was deciding when to stop, knowing when to become civilized again. On the main deck, Dr. Okafor was showing the gathered leaders something on a large screen. Star maps with newly discovered developing civilizations. These 3 worlds would have been the Vedric's next targets, he explained. They're still pre-space flight, but developing quickly. I propose we send joint contact missions to each, not to control them, but to protect them. Secretary General Ahmed looked out at the diverse gathering of species working together and smiled. We were forced to abandon civilization temporarily to save ourselves. Now we'll build something better. A civilization worth saving in the first place. As the celebration continued, ships from a dozen worlds orbited peacefully around Earth, the unlikely birthplace of a new and more just galactic order.